Okay.
And there is a message, if we're looking at what's marked Young, page Young 22, there appear to be some messages between you and Mr. Chitty dated August 13th, 2021. Does that seem right to you?
Yes.
Okay, and it looks here that you're stating to Mr. Chitty in your third message in the middle of the page, you're requesting, may I please have another laptop with a larger screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, was that the first time that you made a request to anyone at Amazon for a larger laptop?
Absolutely not. I came to him multiple different times, and I've talked to Christine multiple different times regarding a laptop.
Before August 13th, you're saying? Because I believe you testified earlier that the first time you asked for a laptop was August 16th.
Well, then I stand corrected. I must have got my dates mixed up because I went and I talked to different people regarding my larger laptop. But obviously, I mean, if we're working on the 13th where I'm asking for a laptop, then yes, I was asking for a laptop then.
Okay. And that you didn't ask for a laptop before August 13th, correct?
Uh, I these
You were
dates,
testifying at your deposition that August 13th was the first time you asked for a laptop?
then it must be. I was sure there was 16th, but obviously, I mean, it's been 3 years ago, so my dates may be a little off on. I mean, we're only talking a couple days, but I know that I have talked to multiple different people regarding a laptop.
Okay. And what does Mr. Chitty say in response to you here?
He's saying, well, he's saying that HR will reach out to you shortly with requirements.
Okay.
As
And
I,
then after that, did you in fact speak with Ashley Moran in HR?
I believe yes, that I reached out to Ashley, and then Ashley said that she was going to have somebody in the accommodations, which would be Christine.
Did she ask you to provide a doctor's note?
Yes, she did.
And by she, I meant Miss Moran.
Yes, she did.
Okay. And I'm going to show you what I believe is that doctor's note, which is which we had marked before the hearing as Respondents Exhibit 8.
And
All
yes,
right.
I provided that to Miss Moran.
Okay. And sorry, Your Honor, do you want to?
Yes, if I could, just for the record, I'm marking Respondents 8 as Exhibit number 8 for today's hearing.
And it says here exam date 8/18/21 or August 18th, 2021, and print date August 18th, 2021. Is that when you got this doctor's note? Is that the date that you got this note?
That's correct.
Okay. And when did you provide it to Miss Moran? Was it the same day?
Immediately after, because as soon as the exam was done, I had Miss Moran's phone number, cell phone. I took a picture when I came out of the exam. I took a picture with my phone and I sent it to her phone immediately after the doctor's visit.
Okay. And it says under recommendations, James needs a larger computer screen to see near work. Did I read that accurately?
That's correct.
Does it say you need a larger laptop?
It does not, but that does not mean that it's a larger laptop. And this is a doctor. He's asking for a larger screen.
So the answer is
So
no,
we're splitting hairs whether it's a tomato.
but it does not say that you need a larger laptop.
It does not, no.
We could refer back to let's try and get the number here. Okay, I'm going to come back to exhibit number 1, as previously marked. And
I would argue that this doctor does not know my job.
there's
Okay.
no question.
There's no question to respond to then, Mr. Young. Exhibit R1 has been marked Exhibit 6 for today's hearing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant I was referring to our exhibit, the hearing exhibit 1. Going back to the hearing exhibit 1, it's the
Okay.
Salesforce case document. It's also marked, or at least a portion of it, as Respondents Exhibit 7.
I'm not clear. So exhibit number 1 for today's hearing is a series of communications with Ms. DeTemple. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And which page did you want to review?
Amazon 26. And let me share the screen. Again, oh, sorry, go ahead.
My exhibit 1 for the hearing starts at Amazon 204.
Okay. This is a different document. It's Respondents Exhibit 7. Maybe we could just mark this as a new
Okay.
exhibit.
All right, this will be marked as Exhibit 9 for today's hearing. It is, has previously been marked as R7.
Mr. Young, if I direct your attention to the top right corner of Amazon 26 from this exhibit, it's a note from Mr. Temple, and it appears to state that she left you a voicemail to go over your accommodation request on August 18th, 2021. Do you recall us receiving a voicemail from Mr. Temple on that date?
I don't recall.
Okay, do you have any reason to dispute that Ms. Temple reached out to you by phone on August 18th, 2021 to discuss your accommodation?
No, I don't. But it's it's 3 years ago and it's possible, but I'm on a floor where it's extremely loud and noisy, so it's possible that she could have left a message that I did not get.
And as you may recall, and I understand it's a long time ago, as you may recall, we had requested in discovery that you turn over the voicemails from Mr. Temple, and you did not have those available. Is that correct?
That's correct, because my phone only has so much, and then it starts deleting anything older.
Okay. Moving up to Amazon, base number Amazon AMZ 25, the bottom left, there's a note here from Christine that says, in short, that she left you a voicemail message requesting a return call on August 20th, 2021. Do you have any reason to dispute that Ms. Young called you on August 20th, 2021 to go over your accommodations?
I would dispute that it was Miss Young.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I misspoke. Mr. Temple.
No, I don't have any reason why she would lie about that.
Let me take this exhibit down, and I'm going to pull up what we had previously marked before the hearing as R9.
All right, this will be marked as Exhibit 10 for purposes of today's hearing.
And Mr. Young, is this document a series of chime messages between you and Mr. Temple?
That appears to be yes.
Okay. And what is chime, just for the judge's edification?
Chime is just another. It's like a TikTok. It's a private platform where people can gather and send messages in between. It's like a Teams, Microsoft Teams.
So an instant messaging platform.
Correct.
Okay. And then turning your attention to the page, the second page, which is base work Young 2. There's a message from Christine de Temple to you on August 24th, 2021 at the top there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. It looks like she says she's reaching out to you regarding the accommodation request.
That's correct.
Okay. And it looks
we'd also like to point out that I did respond to her, as you can see down, that I did call her back, but she was not available.
So it's fair to say you guys played phone tag at this time?
That's fair to say.
Okay. And you had mentioned, I think previously, that you were pretty busy on the floor, so you couldn't always answer her calls?
And that is 100% accurate.
Okay. And then at that point, it's sometime after August 24th, you spoke to Christine and she told you you would be getting the Ruby and the larger monitor. Is that accurate?
The monitor, the thing, the document got dropped.
Yeah, I'm not asking about the document anymore.
Oh, okay. So what was the question again?
Hold on. Let me show you. Let me show you the document again. We're looking at page 8 stamp Young 1 of Exhibit 10 of the hearing. There's a message from Mr. Temple on September 1st, and it looks like she's telling you that the Ruby magnifier has been ordered and hopefully received soon, and Site IT will have to discuss laptop options available. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then later in the conversation, you're saying, are you seeing a big laptop is not ordered? And she responds, there apparently are limited options for the laptop of this time at this time. Maybe a LeapBook with a 15-inch screen, maybe the option along with the Ruby. I will defer to Site IT to confirm. Is that essentially what she said there?
Yep, because she's confirming that she's saying it's a 15.5 monitor that's available.
Okay, I'm going to pull up on the screen Respondents Exhibit 12, so I believe will be Exhibit 11 purposes of our hearing. And Mr. Young, my question is whether this you recognize this email dated September 3rd, 2021 from the accommodation team T2 CC Ms. Moran. That
looks familiar.
We scroll down to the attachment. It's what's a document labeled job accommodation report. And it shows that one, you were approved for a Ruby handheld magnifier and approved for a larger computer monitor with an Amazon laptop. Did I read that accurately?
That's correct.
Okay. And you were in fact approved as of September 3rd, 2021 for those two accommodations, correct?
Yes. And yet I don't get those until September 22nd. or September 22nd.
Correct. So you did not receive, so your last day at JBL1 was September 4th, 2021, the last day or day after this email. And then your first day in Fargo was September 22nd, and that's when you got the accommodations. Is that accurate?
I'm sorry. Could you please repeat that again?
Sure. So your last day, the accommodation approval email we were just looking at is dated September 3rd, 2021, and your last day in Wisconsin at JPL1 was September 4th, right?
Correct.
And then your first day at Fargo FAR1 was September 22nd, 2021, and that's when you got the Ruby and the larger monitor. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, and as you had mentioned before, there were some you had some issues with the larger laptop. Or, I'm sorry, with the Ruby device. Is that right?
That is correct.
And just interjecting here. So R12 has been marked as Exhibit 11 for today's hearing.
Okay. All right, and Mr. Young, I'm going to pull back up hearing Exhibit 10, which are the chai messages between you and Mr. Temple. And I want to direct your attention to your message on September 22nd, 2021 on page Young 3, base stamp Young 3. And it looks like here that you're saying you got the Ruby, but it's you're having issues with it. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, because yes, it is saying it's blurry. And I can't use it with my monitor.
Okay. And then Christine responds, and she attaches a website for the Ruby and suggests that and asks, have you adjusted the contrast and size using the side buttons? Is that accurate?
And I did.
Okay.
In fact, that's where that video that I show, because that video where I entered into evidence earlier, that video shows me adjusting all the contrast, adjusting all the knobs on that particular device.
Okay. So it's here. Okay, turning back to what we've marked as hearing Exhibit 9. I'm showing you an email from Mr. Temple to you dated September 28th, 2021. Are you able to read what that email says?
Are we on Amazon 19 bait stamp?
21, actually.
Okay.
That I would question that document for the simple fact that she's trying to cover herself. Because if you look at the date, I was not at work on that was the day before. Because if you look at that date, that's September 28th. That is the day before I was terminated from Amazon. And she states in follow up with my earlier call. Okay, I hadn't talked to her in almost a week. So I questioned that document.
Is it possible she was asking you, her intent was to ask you if you had resolved your issues, not to state that you had actually resolved your issues?
these issues were never resolved.
Moving up to your what appears to be a response. You say, to clarify, yes, I got the monitor, and yes, it is working at the desk, but no, the Ruby is not working like it should be. It's still very picky to use in focus and very awkward to use when attempting to write or type while holding the laptop. Did I read that correctly?
That is correct.
And you resigned, or I'm sorry, your last day was at Amazon was the following day, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. I want to turn your attention to your age discrimination claim based on training. You had messaged your manager, Mr. Chitty, on Chime about various topics, right, during your employment?
Correct.
About your accommodations, about your manager position that you wanted, among other things?
Yep, and I got in trouble for it.
None of your messages to Mr. Chitty mention anything about Mr. Tannenbaum, correct?
No, not. I don't believe.
You never said anything in writing to Mr. Chitty that Mr. Tannenbaum was mistreated, right?
No.
And you messaged with Ms. Moran from Human Resources about your accommodations, correct?
Yes.
All right. And then in those Chime messages or anywhere else in writing, did you ever complain to Ms. Moran that Mr. Tannenbaum was mistreating you in any way?
I did not. No, because I was counting on my supervisors in the chain of command regarding this issue.
You never said anything to Ms. Temple during your multiple conversations with her that Mr. Tannenbaum was mistreating you in any way, correct?
Mr. Temple does not have anything to do with HR stuff except she's an accommodation, so she is an appropriate person to be talking to. And since I've already talked to both my supervisors, Matt Chitty and the director of training, it was clear that no one was even listening, since clearly I was getting.
Okay, Mr. Young. So here's the thing. Okay, you're being asked a question. All right, answer the question. All right. I'm not interested in extraneous information, about your opinions or what have you. Just answer the question.
Okay.
The question was, did you ever say anything to Temple about Tannenbaum? Answer is no. Next question.
No.
During your trading period at JVO1, Amazon didn't terminate your employment, correct, Mr. Young?
That's false.
During your training period in JVO1,
that's
talking about Fargo.
Okay. That's true.
You're not issued any discipline during your training period at JVO1, correct?
That is inaccurate.
What discipline do you believe you were issued at JVO1?
I had expressed my concern about a new position of the safety manager. I expressed my concern, my interest actually to Matt Chitty and Ashley Moran became aware of my interest because one of the safety managers up and quit from Fargo. So I told them about my interest in that safety manager position. So I had went on and I applied for that safety manager position. But I also noticed that there were other safety positions and other positions. So I applied for several of those. The day after.
You're aware that your safety manager position is not part of this hearing. My question is.
I understand, but I'm answering your question.
You're not answering my question. I'm asking
about
discipline.
You asked if I was disciplined or had talked to in a disciplinary manner, and I said yes.
No, that was not my question.
No,
I said
that was not the question, Mr. Young.
Okay.
What was the question? Was any discipline issued to you while you were at in training?
I was disciplined by John Sabo while I was at training because of applying for multiple different jobs.
Did you receive a written warning from Mr. Sabo?
No, it was a verbal.
What specifically did he say to you that you believe was disciplinary?
He told me to back off, that I am not to be applying for anybody for any other position, and that he basically, in that conversation, he told me I was a mishire, and that, and so, yes, that was because I was reaching out, and in fact, because when I came into work, Matt Chitty had said I needed to talk to John Sabo, and it had to do with, he suspected it had to do with all the positions I applied for. And I was scolded by Mr. Sabo for that.
And if Mr. Sabo denies that any of that conversation ever occurred, he would be lying?
Oh, yes, he is lying.
And you were not demoted while you were at JBL1, correct?
I was not demoted, no.
And you were paid your full salary while you were at JBL1?
Yes, I was.
No amount of money was deducted from your usual pay?
No, I was not.
And in fact, you testified at your deposition that Mr. Buttweiler was helpful for you during the trading period. Isn't that right?
Him, as well as my other co-workers from Argo. Yes, we came together as a group. So yes.
And in fact, because you completed your training period at JBO1, you were then transferred to FAR1 in Fargo to start your actual work at that site, correct?
Correct.
That's all I have, Your Honor.
Okay. Just very briefly, because I just I think that there's going to be a loose end in the record if we don't address this, even though it's clearly not relevant for purposes of today's hearing or the issues that we're here to face. But Mr. Young, there's this discrepancy between I was terminated versus I quit. So, Mr. Young, can you just very briefly describe the reason why you're separated from employment from Amazon.com?
Okay. It goes back to what I was saying, Your Honor, is that on that Saturday before I had resigned, I had, that would be Megan, I don't remember her last name, another area manager brought to me one of her staff people.
Right. You went into this before. It was a homeless person from Texas, and you were helping her out. And so how did this interfere with your employment relationship?
How that interfered is because once I found out about her situation, I wanted to give her money to help her so that she wouldn't have to be in her living in her car. HR got involved, and then my supervisor, Matt Chitty, got involved. And basically, on that day, he told me that I cannot give this employee any money to help her in her situation. And that if I were to help her directly or indirectly, since she's my supervisor, that would be violating my company policy and I would be terminated. And I told him that it's wrong, but and I was upset by that Amazon's not willing to help this individual. I went home, met, and I discussed this with my wife, and we decided that it's the right thing to do. So I ended up knowing full well, after Matt had told me, if I did it, I would be fired. I went and I got up with this individual, took her out to eat, gave her money so that she can have a hotel and be in the hotel until her paycheck in 2 weeks. And since I knew that this is a direct act, and what I was told by Matt that I would be terminated, that's why by doing that, I was fired.
So, you gave this, I guess, coworkers money for a hotel, but then the testimony was that you submitted a resignation letter then to Amazon?
It wasn't a resignation letter. I don't consider that a resignation. I was just basically confirming that I'm not going to be lying about what I did. I told them that, yes, I violated the company's, since Matt told me if I did this, I'll be violating the company's policy because I gave a person, my subordinate, money.
And
And it was
I would
very
like to
clear.
enter that letter
It was my,
as a rebuttal exhibit.
Okay, you'll have a chance to introduce that then after my questions. But Mr. Chitty never told you that you were discharged, though, right?
he told me that if I did that, I would be.
I understand that, but he never said to you, oh, I understand that you gave her some money, so you're fired. Did he say that to you?
No, because I didn't see him. But he
Did
made it very
anyone
clear to
say?
me.
Did anyone from Amazon.com say, we understand you gave this woman some money in, contradiction to what you were told, so you're fired? Did anyone from Amazon.com say that?
No, because I confessed on what I did, but I knew
Well, who
that
did
was,
you confess to?
that was in the letter that I said that, yes, I did this, knowing that I was going to be fired when it was, it was my understanding by Matt that if I were to do this directly or indirectly, I would be terminated.
Okay. Attorney Burstick, you said you wanted to introduce the resignation letter or the letter that ended the separation or the employment. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is that?
I can share it right now. It's a letter dated September 29, 2021.
Is it marked as an exhibit for?
It is not. This would be a rebuttal exhibit.
Oh, all right. So you did not submit that for today's hearing then.
Correct.
I think because we've gotten into this, I think that we need to at least mark that as an exhibit. So you're going to have to submit that letter, which I will now mark as Exhibit 12 for purposes of today's hearing. It, like I said before, it's not specifically relevant to the issues that we're dealing with, but because it has been broached by the parties and there is a disagreement on the nature of the separation of employment, I think we need to sort of at least address that in the record. So, Attorney Burschnick, so this is the letter that was submitted by Mr. Young on September 29th, 2021, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And if you would just furnish me via email with a copy of that document, it'll be included in today's record. Mr. Young, did you want to address this issue at all any further than what I've asked you?
The fact is that Amazon, and I brought this up when we went to the training. We were given a card for expenses. This individual came from Texas. Amazon knew this person traveled from Texas. Amazon refused to give her any kind of to help her out. She was living in her car.
So you're talking about some type of an advance on a paycheck or something like that?
Not even an advance. And because, all right, traveling expenses, they do this all the time for traveling for employees. But yet Amazon didn't do this for this person who, on top of it, we didn't address is she had lost her son. Her son was in her little. He was cremated in back of her car, and had a little. So she was dealing with a lot of stuff. Amazon. The only thing Amazon ended up doing was giving her a list of places where she can go for shelter. The problem is she could not do it because she did not have an ID. In these places, they needed an ID. So she basically had nowhere to go. I chose that it was the right thing to do to give her money so that she had food and she can remain in a hotel. Amazon chose to only just ignore that fact, which it's the wrong thing to do.
Attorney Burstick, any questions on this testimony that Mr.
I just, we have a different version of what happened here, but for purposes of this hearing, I think it's sufficient that the letter stands for itself.
No further questions?
Yeah, no further questions.
All right. Then we have completed the complainant's testimony. Then we'd move on in the complainant's case. Mr. Young, who's the next witness for your case?
That would be Christine DeTemple.
And how long do you think Ms. DeTemple's testimony is going to take?
All these other ones will be quickly. I only have about 10 questions because I'm going to get straight to the point to each one of these people.
Okay, I'm just wondering, is this a good time for a break, or should we just continue on with the testimony? I guess it's kind of a judgment call based on how long we're going to take. I guess I'm open for suggestions here. Mr. Young, what do you think? Do you want to continue, or do you want to take a break now?
I can continue, but I don't know if my witness is available, so that only Rudy would be able to answer that one.
Attorney
if we could just take a quick break, and I'll use that time to tell Ms. DeTemple to log on to the WebEx.
Okay, and so on the issue of take a lunch break now or continue on, you're in favor of continuing on, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that then. We'll take let's just take a 5-minute break, and then Attorney Burstnick can coordinate with Ms. DeTemple, and then we'll start with the testimony of Ms. DeTemple then right after the 5-minute break.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, are you Ms. DeTemple? Attorney Burstnick, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Young?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. DeTemple, can you hear me? I assume that.
He's trying to get our audio working.
Trying to
Hear you now.
let me
Okay.
get my headphones set up.
Okay, we can hear you. Can you hear us?